Super Rugby 2020, up to 7 rounds. I've had a look through the Aussie teams this time to see for each team who are the top guys. I've gone ahead and picked a guy from each team. Not necessarily the right answer, but definitely guys I think are looking promising. And it's kind of a mixture of guys who are maybe a bit younger and some of them who are a bit more experienced. I've already done this for the Blues, well, the New Zealand team, so I just think revolving around the Blues, you know what I mean. Done it for the New Zealand teams, I'll do it for South African teams and the Aussie teams as well. So, yeah, here's the Aussie guys. As always, you guys can let me know your thoughts. We may see more of the Aussie guys in action at some point. As I record this, they've announced there's going to be an Aussie domestic competition, but I guess by the time this video goes up, that may have changed. We will see. So, from the Waratahs, and I kind of regret picking him because his name is long. Mark. Nah, it's Wanitawase. Now Wanitawase. I think everyone's going to know how to pronounce his name, hopefully correctly, or at least close. Soon. He's only 19 years old, and he's hit the ground running for Super Rugby pretty well. He's looked like a good attacking weapon, and not kind of a one-dimensional player either. So, I mean, he's looked dangerous. As I said, he's only 19. If you look at Super Rugby overall stats, he's already like the third guy for number of offloads he's making per game. Now, I've looked at his line break assist stats, and he's okay. He's okay for a winger, I guess. He's nowhere near setting any kind of records. But as he gets more experience, you got to feel like those offloads will turn into line break assists, and then he'll be setting up other people for tries as well. I don't think he has any try assists thus far. But the fact that he's really making those passes stick is definitely a good sign. And he's also like 6th overall for line breaks. And I think the top player who had 3 line breaks only played the one game. That was Chase Tiatia. He's only played one game thus far. So he's probably realistically top 5 for line breaks. 1.4 line breaks per game. A lot of players can't get a line break a game. It's kind of every other game. So he is really, really a dangerous young man. He's got some serious wheels, and he's a very exciting guy to watch. Like I said, offloads, run meters. Other stats, he's kind of solid without being overall kind of like spectacular. Tackle bust 1.4, but he's more of a gas man than like a fend man. His boot's okay, but not that polished, so he can kick. His defense probably needs a bit of work. 3.8 tackles per game, 1.2 tackles missed. So his overall success rate, his tackle efficiency, according to Fox Sports, is 61% overall, which is probably a bit low. Outside backs tend to have lower numbers because of the situations they're put in us to defend, but still. Likewise, his handling errors are a wee bit on the high side, but still, I feel like he will improve all those things as he gets more experience. The fact that as kind of a raw 19-year-old, he's already as good as he is very, very promising for the Waratahs and for Aussie Rugby. Next, for the Brumbies, I've gone away from the outside backs and gone for a prop. I've gone with Alan Alatoa. He has just been one of the premier tight head props in World Rugby in recent times, man. Like, Aussie props tend to always get a bit underrated because they're traditionally not like a big pack team. But, man, he has been good. He's strong in the scrum, which is his core role as a tight head or any prop. He's not overly penalised, so that's always a risk whenever you're looking at props. Their penalty counts can be high if they are getting dominated at scrum time. And he's got great hands for a big man. Honestly, his passing and whatnot. He's got 2 try assists, so that's the top equal for any prop in Super Rugby 2020. And 3.3 passes per game makes him the top passing prop in Super Rugby. No prop passes more than Alan Alatoa. His carry work is good without being the top guy, so he's kind of like top 5, top 6 in terms of run meters per game and for props. Tackle busts are okay without being the top. His number of possessions per game, so how much he's getting the ball, is second only to his brother who's playing for the Crusaders, so 9 times a game. So he wants to get involved. He's able to punch the ball up if he needs to, but he's equally able to distribute, which in the modern game is pretty essential for every player, no matter what number is on your back. So he definitely lives up to that. And on top of that, he makes more tackles per game than any other prop in Super Rugby with 11 tackles, and his tackle efficiency is 91%. The guy is a beast. He definitely gets underrated for playing for teams which don't win Super Rugby or World Cups and stuff. But man, he is a really, really good player. Next, and from the Reds, I've gone with another youngster. I've gone with Harry Wilson. He's 20 years old, and he is an absolute workaholic. He wants the ball. He makes more runs per game than any other player in Super Rugby. So talk about putting your hand up and trying to get noticed as a young man. 12.6 runs per game, and he averages 69 run meters. So he's not getting the most run meters per run because he is making so many runs, but he is clocking them up over the course of the game. He doesn't bust a whole lot of tackles, but he's second for line breaks for a number 8, with pretty much one per game, which is pretty exceptional stuff. He offloads more than any other number 8, and he's in the top 10 in Super Rugby overall in terms of his offloads. So he's got good work rate. He's committed to showing he's got some skill with ball in hand. He's not just kind of a tuck and run guy. And his regular pass stats, just like without offloads, just normal passing, he's second overall for number 8. So he's even put in 3 kicks over the course of the season. So he's got a big bag of tricks. He's not perfect. 7.3 tackles a game with 1.1 miss tackles. Kind of reminds me a bit of Akira Ioane, like in that he would have massive offensive stats, but sometimes his work rate off the ball wasn't the best. So I would say that's one area that Brad Thorne will definitely have him working on. But he's still no slouch, man. He's got 2 tries. He's got a try assist. Pick and drives, he's number 1 for number 8 and 3rd overall. So he's just top man. Absolutely having a blinder of a season. I probably should have picked Tate McDermott, but I've picked Tate McDermott for every other dream team I've done up to Super Rugby thus far, and I don't think I've picked Wilson. I've kind of snubbed him a few times, so it's time for him to get on my whiteboard. So there you go. But either way, they're both having really good seasons. Next, the Rebels. I have gone with Andrew Callaway. Who would have thought he would have been the top try scorer in Super Rugby thus far? Not me, man. I've always thought he's okay. And this is a bit disrespectful from me, and I apologise for that. I've always thought he's alright, but he's nothing special. He's just a standard, kind of smallish winger, outside back. Thought he's nothing. He's nothing that flash, but he's been pretty good, man. 7 tries in Super Rugby thus far. The next best is 5. So he's top of the try scoring log. He's showed some absolute wheels. There's times when he's gotten like length of the field tries where you thought the guy chasing him is definitely going to catch him, but Callaway manages to maybe not burn him, but at least maintain enough distance that he's not going to get caught. So yeah, picks a good angle to run and has some serious wheels, which I probably didn't realise. He's also got a try assist, so he's he's had 6 games averaging pretty much a try a game, slightly over. And 6 games is kind of one of the bigger sample sizes as well. Like some guys have had really great stats from like 2 games, but it's harder to do it over 6 or 7 games. 63 run meters per game. It's okay. It's not exactly top 10, but it's all right. It's solid. You certainly can't complain about that. Line breaks. He's had quite a few of those. He's 3rd overall for wingers getting line breaks, and like I said, he's had a couple of long distance tries, which maybe like intercepts and whatnot. So he's capable of cutting the opposition to bits if they let him. And for wingers, he's doing all right with tackle bust, 1.3 tackle bust per game. It's not a huge stat, but it's probably not really what he's about in terms of his physical presence. So he's got a pretty good rugby brain and able to read the game and get those intercepts and pick a good line to run to make the try on, or pick a good time to intercept and whatnot. So yeah, I think he could probably use a few more kick meters and a few more tackles. But apart from that, man, he is having a proper good season as well. Lastly, also from the Aussie Conference, and it's an Aussie. I've gone with Michael Stolberg, the big lock from the Sunwolves. He's been like 2.04 meters. He's some proper tall timber, and the Sunwolves needed that, man. Like, they previously had the big South African guy who played loose forward and lock. I forget his name right now, but yeah, other than that, they didn't have any big guys. And Stolberg has been a regular for the Sunwolves. He is proper tall timber, and I think their lineout has been improved for having him there. Like, their lineout's operating at 85%, which is not top of Super Rugby by any means, but 85% you feel like is acceptable. And he is their main lineout guy. He also gets lineout steals, the opposition, stealing opposition lineout ball. Sunwolves are actually one of the higher teams for that, and he's the majority of that. So yeah, in terms of getting a solid lineout operator, which in the past the Sunwolves haven't had, and it meant like when they would win a penalty, they wouldn't kick for touch because they were so lacking confidence in their lineout. They don't really do that anymore, which is good. He's had 2 tries. 24 average run meters a game is solid without being spectacular. Line breaks, he's top 3 for locks, so he's certainly not afraid to get the ball in some space. For tackle busts, he's top 10 for locks, so he's got the attacking side to his game, and he's got 3rd overall tackles made for locks overall, and he's the top tackler for the Sunwolves. Now, his tackle success rate or his efficiency is like 81%. Ideally, that's a bit higher. But still, he's the Sunwolves top tackler. He's 3rd overall. His side's been getting a bit of a hiding, so I'll still give him a wee bit of credit for putting in a shift on his end. I think he's been in Japan since about 2016, so we may see him represent Japan at some point. He's 27 years old. He's a lock, so he could go on for a bit longer, but yeah, I think he's been good value from what we've seen of him, and I hope we see more of him. The Sunwolves are pretty much done at this point, so we won't likely see him for the Sunwolves, maybe for Japan. We'll see. It should be interesting. But yeah, those are my 5 guys from the Aussie Conference teams. There are certainly other ones I could have picked, but these are the ones I did pick. You guys let me know your thoughts on these guys. How did you think they went? We'll see if we see these guys in action soon, if the Aussies get their domestic comp underway. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.